Well, here we go. It's Monday afternoon. This is an exercise in oil management before we go anywhere. I have disconnected the scavenge line from this little sump. There's this little round sump in the middle of the engine there, or in the middle of the cylinders. All the oil from the rocker covers and so on drain down and down and down and go into that little sump. And that's about all I've got, which I'll measure it shortly, but it's probably only a bit over a litre. And I'm probably missing about 5 litres of oil. There's a fair bit in this drip tray, but I want to account for as much as I can, because I think the remainder has to be sitting in the skirts of these two lower the skirts of the pistons of these two lower cylinders. There's about a litre or so left in the oil tank. Most of it's drained out. So obviously not a good idea to fill the engine up with oil weeks before you're going to start it up. I'll eventually get a plan, but right now I'm making it up as I go. So let's tip the bucket back into the oil tank, which is up inside the orange bit, and see how much we can recover. Then I'll tip this into the bucket, and this is going into the waste oil drum. I'm not going to reuse anything out of that out of a drip tray. That's a step too far. And we're working along the lines of trying to start it up. I haven't got fuel in the aeroplane yet. I still haven't added any fuel to it. I don't want to do that until I'm basically outside. I'm not going to try and refuel the aeroplane inside the hangar. But there we go, that's what we're up to. Follow along. Okay, I've drained the oil out of the drip tray and measured it. There was just on 4 litres of oil, and that drip tray was clean when we started. So, okay, we lost 4 litres overboard. I measured the oil that came out of this little sump in the centre of the engine, the little round thing. This one. This is a scavenge sump. It was 1.7 litres. So we've accounted for 5.7 litres. There was nothing left in the oil tank whatsoever, but I'm suspicious that there's oil that came down into the crankcase and filled up the underside of the pistons on these two cylinders. So there'll be oil sitting in the skirts. Now I put 7 litres of oil in the engine in the first place. Some of that would have gone into filling up the filter, filling up the hoses, that sort of thing. So I think we've pretty much accounted for everything. The 1.7 litres that I drained out of the little sump, I've already put that back into the oil tank. That was clean new oil. The oil out of the drip tray is going to the recyclers. So yeah, we're getting closer. Next step will be to add a couple more litres to the oil tank. I don't want to run it low on oil. I'll only put 2 more. I'll put the 1.7 plus I'll put 2 more. So there'll be nearly 4 litres of oil in circulation, plus whatever's laying in the skirts of the pistons. And we'll check that after we shut down. The next step will be to put the spark plugs back in. I've had the spark plugs out now for a couple of weeks. There was no oil whatsoever leaking out of the spark plugs, where the spark plug out of the spark plug holes anyway. So that's probably a good thing. So the oil's contained within the crankcase and the engine, the skirts of the pistons on the lower couple of cylinders. But that's it. Let's put the plugs back in. ignition off for starters?
I would, yeah, for a little while.
Okay, clip.
Wow, that's idle, is it?
I think so.
I think it's a tad high.
Yeah, it's on now and just started straight up. Clip. Find the brakes again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of gas.
I'd say so, yeah.
Well, it was idled back a little bit further.
Yeah. Okay, clip.
Which is on.
Yep. Well, by now you probably already saw the engine run video. The engine actually started up quite easily. I wound it over, I don't know, half a dozen blades or something on the starter motor before I engaged the ignition system, and it fired right up, no problem at all. The idle is a problem on the engine. The idle is a lot higher than it should be. For whatever reason, the actual throttle arm on the carburettor is not contacting the stop properly. So I'll address that's no big deal. But no, had good oil pressure. Matter of fact, oil pressure was right up the maximum end of the gauge. Charging at 14.2 volts. Can't hope for much better than that. And yeah, the engine ran quite well. Unfortunately, with a round engine, they continue to leak oil all over the place. So This is no different. The drip tray was clean. I think I ran the engine up a couple of days ago, and that oil has appeared since. This drip tray was clean. There was actually 4 litres of oil in the drip tray, and 4 litres of oil at about $25 a litre runs into a bit of a cost. So anyway, that's just, I guess the way to fix it is to just fly it more often. Keep the oil pumped back into the tank. But anyway, I was quite happy with that. What else? We had a little tiny problem with the fuel leak. Matter of fact, both fuel tanks leaked. And if you can see up there, I've cut access panels into both wings so that I can address the fuel leak problem. I haven't broken out the Pro Seal yet, but it's coming fairly shortly. And start to see if I can't repair the fuel leaks. But anyway, that's what I've done. I'm disappointed that it leaked. Yeah, disappointed would be a good word, I suppose. Probably not a very strong word, but a good word. I'm happy with the repair, though. There's the, you're not going to see inside there anyway, but they're the access panels. This is what you're going to have to do if you've got a fuel leak. I really expected a fuel leak from here. Mind you, I've only put a little bit of fuel in that one and only about 2 litres in this one, and they both leaked. So the leak is right at the bottom of the tank, which is one of the first bits that you do. But anyway, I'll work my way through it and get those sealed up, and we should be right. The repair scheme's mine. I haven't got the bits in this hanger, but anyway, that's to be fixed. And yeah, there was a little bit of damage to the paintwork and that sort of thing. I think it's going to stay that way. I'm not in the mood to fix it right now, but yeah, that'll do. My time was divided a little bit into this Renegade as well. I haven't really mentioned this Renegade very much. This belongs to a friend and neighbour. It was built in 2000. It first flew in 2002. Looking over it, the workmanship is extremely good, really, really good. There are only 7 entries in the maintenance release, so there was only 7 possible days that it could have flown, only ever 1 maintenance release. So the certificate of airworthiness is on the first one, is only good for 12 months, and that allows you to do your testing and all the rest of it. So this aeroplane hasn't had all that yet. So it will, in the next few months, I've applied to Civil Aviation for a new certificate of airworthiness, and we're working through getting that sorted out now. But we're not too sure what happens after that. It may go up for sale. It's a 912, an 80 horsepower 912, and really quite well built. And it's ready to fly right now. You could put some fuel in it, take it out. It won't actually leak, in fact, but put some fuel in it, take it outside and take off, no problem. So that's this took a little bit of time, and it'll probably take a little bit more time again over the next few weeks while I'm getting the paperwork sorted out. It's not It's relatively straightforward, and I've got the easiest run possible. Yeah, I'm not going to get the paperwork any easier than what we're doing this one. Mine should be fairly easy as well. Once I get it ready to fly. There's still a lot of work to do on mine, but yeah, I've just about got this sorted as well. Me and one of the other neighbours has been working on it. Him in particular, he's done a lot of work to it. But no, it's a pretty little thing and goes quite well. I was there for the first flight in 2002. That's why I remember it. I was living on the other side of the country at that point in time, and I flew across here. And the day they decided to fly it for the first time. So anyway, that's it for the update. It's about as good as I can do under the circumstances. You know the rules. Get your feet off the ground if you can. I think it's going to be, the weather here's going to be reasonable, I think. Don't forget Valentine's Day. Yeah, that'd be a big mistake. No, that was a bad thing to say. But anyway, just don't forget it, all right? And I'll catch you next week. And hopefully this will be all fixed by then. Yeah, right. Pinocchio. Bye now.